What's the big problem that you're solving today? Who's the team? That's the first point. Um, what's the market? What product are you offering in that market? And then what traction, if any, do you have to date? And then how are you different? It always starts with having a clear understanding and a very simple narrative around what the problem is that you're solving. And if you can't explain that clearly, people can't identify whether they raise their hand and say, yes, I have that problem. We get too focused on our product and not enough on the problem. People don't care about our products. They care about their problems and whether or not they can be solved. Products to me are simply byproducts of trying to solve those key problems. Then can you assemble the right kind of team with the right subject matter expertise and the appropriate roles necessary to go about solving that problem for an early cohort of customers? Because the fastest path to product market fit is word of mouth. And that word of mouth needs to come from that initial cohort of customers where you have user stories of before and after that can show the rest of the market that there is a problem here and you are the right one to solve it for them. Then can you show real traction with that? What are the unit economics that demonstrate that you can create predictable, profitable, scalable revenue over time? And then how big is that market? Is it large enough for venture capitalists to care? And then ultimately, what is the novel, unique differentiator between you and how they're currently solving the problem for themselves today, whether it's internally or it's with alternative vendors? I think there's two kinds of entrepreneurs and founders in the market. There's those that have the really disruptive ideas that change the game. And then there's those that have practical ways of improving on the game. And one is not necessarily better than the other. I personally love to invest in founding teams, not individual founders, because you need someone who knows how to do market, and you need someone who knows how to do product, and they need to work well together. And yes, if they have a track record and they're a horse that's won, that's fantastic. But ultimately, I look for traction, because traction speaks louder than words. Can you demonstrate to me that you can get that first cohort of customers without any help? That speaks volumes about the quality of the team. And then on top of it, the most successful founders I've found are people that have dealt with that problem and experienced it firsthand themselves and figured out a way to use technology to solve it. Because no one understands, until you truly walk a mile in the shoes of that customer, you don't really understand how deep that problem is. We tend to be very product focused or very self-centric in our mindsets. When we construct any sort of GTM, we operate on assumptions. We don't construct hypotheses and test and learn from those hypotheses. Brain behaves very differently when you construct a hypothesis than when you operate in an assumption. And I've always believed that we shouldn't assume anything except responsibility for our own behavior. Rather, we should construct hypotheses for everything. Everything should be formed and framed as a question and not a statement. Don't assume anything. Construct hypotheses and test until you start to recognize patterns, and then those patterns are going to lead you to your answers. And don't write a single line of code or build any kind of product until you know who your customer is, what the problem is, what value you're creating, and how you're going to solve it. Everybody wants to vomit out everything they know and try and prove to you that they know something. I don't care what you know, right? I care what you understand. And my favorite founder pitches, VC pitches, are ones where you're selling me on your product, not on your company. Because that tells me that you understand what the problem is, who the customer is, how you're going to solve it, what value gets created from that, and what the benefits and outcomes are of that. There's no such thing as a disruptive idea. Disruption is created by the market. It's created by adoption. Customer adoption at scale is what creates disruption. When people decide they're going to start using Uber instead of Yellow Cab, that doesn't mean Uber is disruptive. That means the customers have adopted it and they've created disruption in the marketplace as a result. Most people talk about selling props, especially in sales and marketing, when really value props is what matters. Because at the end of the day, people only buy for one of 5 reasons, right? make more money, save money, create or maintain a competitive advantage, change an emotion, or my favorite, stay out of prison. As a leader and a team builder, my job is to take a bunch of individuals and turn them into a team, right? And it's not about identity or gender or color or any of those things. It's about everybody's a unique individual, and you have to get them moving in the same direction as everybody else, bought into the same vision and the culture and the value system. And it always starts with core values.
Right.
So make sure that when you put your charter together and you've got your mission and your vision, that you have a core values statement or set of core values that matter to you. Because when you're marketing or selling, Seth Godin, who's one of my mentors, used to say there's two kinds of people when you're marketing: those who agree with you and those that don't. Seek out the ones that do and tell them the truth and ignore the other ones. And that's fine, right? No is the second best answer in sales.
Yep.
The sooner you know that, the sooner you no longer have to spend time on those people. Simple is really, really hard. Amazon's not the most valuable company in the world because they make stuff. They're the most valuable company in the world because they make stuff easy.
Curious if you would agree, inbound leads or demo requests are traditionally thought to be the highest intent lead that a B2B company could get. The problem that we're seeing in the market is that leaky funnel at the top, most companies don't even capture 70 to 85% of those demo requests. A lot of the time they do say that 80% of the sales process is almost done before they even talk to sales reps. So if we're not capturing that intent right there in that moment, and we continue to see a ton of opportunity in the market, not only in B2B tech, but other verticals.
Listen, I was going to ask a question and I did not know that we were going to go there, which is very much against the advice that the coach from yesterday gave of if you ask a question, know the answer. So we're going down this mystery together, Sean. And as I moved along in my career, I found myself like being one of the only women. And I can even recall moving in from an SDR role into an AE role. And it's like, nonetheless, there's still people who are leaving. I could easily say, oh, hey, every white man out here doesn't want women to succeed. And I think that happens a lot of times as we start getting into a little bit of identity politics. It's either men or women, it's either black or white, because we believe that the problem isn't just a matter of representation. It really is a matter of inclusion. And the best way to foster inclusion is by creating the spaces for everyone to be able to have a conversation together.